to the Italian Football Podcast.
So, Baggio of the week, and I just want to pay homage to Italy Under-17s, who are European champions. The first time in history that Italy are Under-17 European champions. They did actually win at Under-16 level in 1982 and in 1987. They actually got stripped of the 1987 title because they played an overage player, or someone wasn't registered that should have been registered. But this used to be previously used to be categorized as an Under-16 tournament. Then it changed, I think 25 years ago, to an Under-17 tournament. Italy had never won this tournament, and they are now champions for the first time, and absolutely deserved champions. They played a fantastic tournament. I watched all of their games. They beat Portugal 3-0 in the final after a brilliant double, 2 goals from that man that everybody has been talking about for the last year, Francesco Camarda. Won all 3 games in the group, then beat England in the quarterfinals on penalties, Denmark in the semi-finals, and then thrashed Portugal in the final. Fantastic achievement. Well done to the Azzurrini. I want to go through, though, Nima, the stars of this team. I want to start off with Francesco Camarda, who is the one that stood out above everyone else. 2 goals in the final. The first goal in the final was a fantastic solo goal. And the second one was a really clinical finish. He was player of the tournament, one player of the tournament. He scored 4 goals in the tournament. He also scored a stunning strike against Slovakia in the group stages. He looks like the real deal. He really does. He has a bit of everything. He has the physique. He has the technique. He can use both feet. He's got a great shot. He can finish. He can make goals for himself, like he did in the final. He's good in the air. He can bring others into play. He can come deep. He can go in behind. He just looks like such a complete player. He doesn't really seem, on the surface to really have any weaknesses. And we all know about his scoring record, scoring 500 odd goals in the Milan youth level. Of course, made his debut, broke the record for playing for Milan at the age of 15 earlier in the past season. He's just about to sign a new contract, or he just has signed a new contract with Milan. This guy is what do you think of this guy, Nima? He's special, isn't he?
He's special. He's got this really special aura about him. And he, the fact that he does so well with when he plays with his peers and looks so good, and so natural, and just everything flows with him. And it's just he's a very interesting player to watch. It's going to be interesting to see what happens next season with him. What do Milan do? Do they send him to Serie C? Do they keep him? Do they want him just to learn with the first team and play with the youth team another season? I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see what they do with him, because he definitely is one to watch. I mean, it's one thing to score at club level gajillion goals that he has, but to then turn up to the Under-17 Euros and be the player of the tournament, scoring twice in the final, and was just outstanding. Had a fantastic tournament. Best player on the team that won. That raises the bar a little bit. That makes things much more interesting. And so I'm really paying attention to him now.
Yeah, I agree. And I want to expand on your point at the end about what they do with him next season, or this coming season, because I think that is definitely going to be very, very important for his development. Another Milan player, Mattia Liberali, he was the other standout player in the tournament for Italy, for me, along with Camarda. He's more of an outside forward, more of an attacking midfield. He's got a lovely left foot. He's a great dribbler, close ball control, more diminutive. He scored the goal of the tournament against England in the quarterfinal, and check out that goal to equalise. Incredible dribble, like close ball control, just kind of really quick feet, and then shot and scored. He has been labelled as the Italian Phil Foden by Alessandro Costacurta, the Milan centre-back legend, for the way he plays. Costacurta sees Phil Foden in him, the way he plays. He was fantastic in his tournament. He scored 2 goals as well. So he is another player definitely to watch. He really does look like, technically, he looks like a really special player, Liberali. And then there's another little left footer. Italy had a lot of very interesting left-footed players, little left-footed players, diminutive left-footed players in this tournament. Another one is Mattia Mosconi, who plays for Inter. Also kind of an Inter, I don't know how much you've seen of him, but like an outside attacker, attacking midfielder kind of player as well. Like Liberali, a little bit similar to Liberali in style of play, like left foot, technical, creative, kind of quite good close ball control, dribbler. And he was really, really good as well. Maybe slightly less so than the other two, but also you can see technically very good player. These three were a great trio. They linked up really well. Their understanding was really good. Lovely little triangles, and they kind of just had too much for their opponents. These three in attack, the opponents just couldn't handle them. It really was a great team to watch. And what was so special about this Italy team is that they were all really comfortable on the ball. Very comfortable on the ball.
Very comfortable on the ball. They played a possession game that I thought was very interesting to see.
Spanish-like, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was more Spanish than Italian traditionally. If we're gonna use stereotypes and label stuff, I thought they were.
There wasn't anybody that had the ball that you thought like they were uncomfortable when they had it. That they were playing like little short passes and pass and go triangles, and the midfielders as well. I mean, Federico Coletta was the goal scoring midfielder. He scored 3 in the tournament. He scored the winner in the semi-final against Denmark, and he scored the opener in the final as well. He plays for Roma. But the other player that impressed me probably more than anyone else was Christian Karma at left back. He very fast. But again, diminutive, very dangerous going forward, joined the attack a lot, got in behind, made those kind of bursting runs. Kind of reminded me a little bit of Jordi Alba, kind of the way he played. I really liked him in the tournament. He scored a goal. He was in the team in the tournament. Italy had 5 players in the UEFA team in the tournament. They had Camarda, Liberali, Karma, the other fullback, Benjamin, who plays for Real Madrid, his youth team. He's the right back. He was in the team in the tournament as well. And also the goalkeeper Massimo Pessina of Bologna. He was in the team in the tournament as well. There's also a Barcelona centre back, Andrea Natali, who's the son of the former defender, Bologna defender. Did he play for Bologna, Cesare Natali? I think he did. Former Serie A centre back. He's very highly rated. He played really well in the final. He struggled against England though in the quarters. He had a bad game against them, but he was really good in the final. He's wanted by Bayer Leverkusen. Leverkusen are actually in negotiations to sign him. So quite interesting that 2 of these players, one plays for Real Madrid, one plays for Barcelona, 2 of the defenders. But it's a very special group of players, I think, Nima. You could see that they were cut above. Only the England game. The England game was tough. I think maybe slightly fortunate to win that quarter final. It went to penalties. They won on. England had a good team as well, but other than that, every single game, they were head and shoulders above their opponents in every game. I mean, the Denmark game in the semi-finals, they should have won about 6 or 7-0. It was unbelievable how many chances they had. And again, against Portugal, they just completely blew them away in the first half. So yeah, we're the reigning under-17 champions of Europe now. We're the reigning under-19 champions of Europe from last year. We're the under-20 World Cup runners-up from last year. So it shows, I mean, we are now officially the best youth team. We've got the best youth national teams in the world based on the trophies at the moment. So it shows that we have the talent. It shows that at the moment we're doing better than any country at youth level. The problem is, as we have complained so much, is that we do not have the pathway in getting these players to develop from this youth quality at youth level to become top senior players and getting them to play regularly in Serie A. And the biggest example of that is go back to a year ago, under-19 European champions, under-20 World Cup runners-up. How many of those players are played regularly or barely played at all in Serie A last season? Barely any. I think Kayode is probably the only real example of someone that was playing regularly, and that only came about because of a serious injury to Dodo that ruled him out for most of the season. So this is the problem, Nima. This is what needs to change. We need to change the culture in getting these players to have chances.
Yeah, no, I do. I agree. I think that's what I'm saying with Camarda. To see what Milan do with him now, and what Inter and all the Roma and everyone else who owns the rights to these players, what they do with them next season, because and not just this team, but also the under-19 and under-20s and everything that's going on with them. I want to see them, it's going to be interesting to see how they handle them. Do they play them in the Serie B, which I think is not a bad idea if they're 17, 18. And then, or do you try to integrate them in the Serie A in a smaller team like Frosinone did with the Sule and all these other guys, even though they were 20-something, 23 years old. But yeah, it's. I think you do have a point in what you say, that I think Italy needs to start opening up more to younger players. I really think so.
Yeah, because I mean, we actually have a question on this in the Q&A about what's the best way to do about this. We do discuss about that. But I think that is one of the advantages of creating the next gen team or a B team, is that if Milan, for example, they have no problem in playing Camarda and Liberali in their next gen team, and if they don't get the results, it's not the end of the world. They don't really care that much, because it's not about winning with their next gen team or their B team. It's about development. Whereas if you loan them out to a team, even if it's Serie B team, those teams have objectives that if they fail to meet those objectives, it has consequences on the manager, on the president, on the financial situation, on the other players. So they then become reluctant to give them the chance to develop and to make mistakes and to trust. And so that is probably one of the positives, which maybe we didn't discuss in the Q&A episode, of having Milan having this next gen team, Juventus having a next gen team, Atalanta having a next gen team, and the other teams creating these next gen teams, is that they are able to play these players. The problem is, though, that if these teams are stuck in the Serie C or lower, that level is probably not high enough. Well, it isn't, in my opinion, high enough for these players to be able to develop at the level. They need to be playing Serie B at the very lowest, or Serie A. They have to be. That's where these players. I mean, if you look at, I think Barcelona, for example, some of the Spanish clubs have gone too far. They've actually risked ruining their youngsters, their young phenomenons like Gavi, like Pedri. Now they're playing Yamal at 16. They're playing Kubasi at 17. When these players are phenomenons and they're already top players, they already look like top players, and you've got to be careful not to overdo it and ruin these players. But
burn them out.
But if Italy had these players, they wouldn't have been playing. Do you think they would have played? Yamal. You think, where would Yamal be at 16? He would have been probably loaned out to Serie C or stuck playing with the Primavera team. So this is where the culture has to change, because if in 2 years, I don't want to be sitting here in 2 years' time and we're talking about what happened to Camarda, and then maybe we'll be sitting here and saying, well, maybe he wasn't really good enough. And I think that's the wrong way of discussing it, because how does he have a chance of being good enough if he doesn't ever get the chance to play? So that's the problem.
Mm. No, I think the next gen thing is the right move forward, and also loaning him to Serie B teams to see that the right environment, regardless of where they go. I want them in the right environment, someplace where they can develop in peace, and that they can show and take the to develop, because it's not just. They're still growing. They're still young lads, both mentally and physically. They're still growing. And so I think they need to be in a good, nurturing environment where they can develop every aspect of their game, and also off the pitch, because I think that's very important too. I think a lot of times people don't understand how important off the pitch maturity is as well.
Absolutely.